So if I told you that the Cowboys defense could get a lot better and that we've seen it be a lot better, but it wouldn't require any firing, any benching, anybody getting healthy or trading for any outside asset. If I told you that, would you believe me? Most people probably wouldn't, but they should. And that's what I'm going to talk about today, because what we saw against the Panthers in Carolina was a completely different defense than the one that we watched against the Eagles in Philadelphia in week 1. It all has to do with effort, okay? Power, pad level, manhood, maniacal effort. That's the difference in getting gashed for 200 plus yard or 200 plus all-purpose yards, most of which on the ground. An average of 7 yards per carry on first downs. Okay, but people, they want to talk about man coverage. And I will talk about man coverage, especially in money downs and big-time situations when my $90 million corner is 8, 9, 10 yards off the ball on 4th and 4. Hunter Renfrow has 1 reception in the football game, and it's the biggest one of the day. Because we want to spot drop after simulating pressure with Kenneth Murray. Nobody's in the backfield, by the way. But him processing and reading things, not just in the run game, but in the passing game, it's a tick slow. So no wonder he was a tick slow getting into that window. They were kind of high-low comboing Hunter Renfrow there. But if we're going to depend on scheme and simulated pressures, which I love, by the way, I'm a huge fan of, it's modern principles of defense that give quarterbacks issues. But can my $90 million corner not just line up and get in somebody's chest and go play ball? Give me 1 stop? We're going to play a finesse approach and try to trick 'em, dick 'em, if you will. That's frustrating. And it's even more so for me because I've been highlighting it for weeks now. I've been highlighting it for about 3 weeks. I've been watching it every week. Kyer Elam, Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland, Freddie Stewart, you name it. Corners are sagging off. It is a philosophical principle. That's on Matt Eberflus. Okay, that is on him. But he's handicapped because players are making decisions when they roll out of bed. I mean, honestly, it starts in the early week, like early on in the week, during preparation for any given opponent. How much do you respect your upcoming matchup? How much will you choose your manhood, your power, your pad level over theirs? The Cowboys chose not to do that in this game. And it's extra frustrating. The fans deserve better, for sure. But it's extra frustrating because we've already seen them choose the opposite of that and show up and stuff the run over and over again against a more souped up, better version of what the Panthers can present to you in week 1 against the Eagles. It's already happened. Okay? So yes, Matt Eberflus shares a ton of responsibility. Asking Donovan Wilson to be the high man. Single high safety looks whenever they roll into those coverage principles. There's no excuse anymore for Donovan Wilson to be middle field responsive, deep middle. Let Wanye do that. Let Marquise Bell do that. Let Malik Hooker do that whenever he comes back. And in no instance should that ever happen willingly. Now, Dono, we're going to be honest, like he got the C on his chest because of his intensity and his prowess in the run game. He might be your best linebacker right now. And shout out to Foots the King. I saw him point that out, so I went to go look specifically and double check for myself, and I agree. He gets a lot of heat for what he does in coverage, but people don't respect his ability to trigger, get downhill, and go put his face mask into somebody's chest. That dude grinds on the ground. In the air, not so much. So put him in better positions. Don't ask Kenneth Murray to back up. I mean, he's actually been, it's weird, man. He's so hit or miss. You see flashes, but then it's just like, up here, it's just a tick slow, always, all the time. You'll see him impressively just carry tight ends, carry running backs out of the backfield and like eliminate plays in the passing game. But then Other instances, it just looks like he's kind of lost, right? Another thing that Matt Eberflus can do better is maybe not ask Oso Odighizuwa to spot drop into coverage. I saw that right before one of those big money down situations where Osa just like drops back and he's just kind of like, doo-doo-doo. Here I am, standing in the middle of the field, not knowing what to do. And even if I did know what to do, it doesn't matter because I'm 300 pounds. Why am I in coverage? Things like that. So the whole point of this video here is it's ugly. Let's be honest. But it's to highlight that it's not just one person. It's a collective effort, a harmonious effort of everybody working as one. If so much as one guy misreads, and Shamar James had a tough day too. He misread a lot of things. He took himself out of plays a lot of times. And you're going to see some of those clips here. You're seeing them right now probably. But Oso Odighizuwa had a tough day at the office, just getting thrown out the club. Kenny Clark getting tossed out the club. Marshawn Nealon getting tossed out the club. And a ton of other guys in between just seemingly disinterested. I want to give a lot of credit to 90, 27, and I said this on Twitter yesterday. 90, 27, 6 in the running game. 41, Donovan Ezeraku played with a ton of energy. Maybe another guy or two. And don't get me wrong, Shamar James plays hard. I respect that at the very least. He's giving you 110% effort. But it's a processing problem for him right now. He hadn't played enough football at this level yet. That'll come. But for those of us that are asking for DeMarvion Overshown to come in and be the hero, if you're doing that, if the Joneses are sitting on their hands doing that, I'm telling you that is a mistake. That's coming from a guy who covers Texas, who's followed DeMarvion Overshown for a very long time, who knows how talented of a playmaker, a difference maker that he can be on the defensive side of the ball. But the problem is he hasn't played football in over a year. So, yeah, maybe he's ready by week 11. Technically, he's cleared to play football, but how effective is he? How much does he trust his body, himself? How much does his subconscious, his sports psychology allow DeMarvion Overshown to be DeMarvion Overshown? We don't know that. Okay? But the reason why they're handicapped right now is because they're caught between a rock and a hard place. Our defense is so bad that we might be encouraged to hold on to our picks a little bit. But our offense is so good that we're also encouraged in some capacity to go and spend. And let's go up, elevate our floor. Right? Kenny Clark was an elevation of your floor play. Jadeveon Clowney was an elevation of your floor play. But somebody like Max Crosby could be an elevation of your ceiling play. Now, that brings me to this discussion. Let's round it out like this. People want to say, well, Cowboys should just play more man, blitz more, to allow, send more pressures and basically play man coverage more frequently. The problem is man coverage doesn't work either. It's a worse option for this team right now, because they can't generate pressure. So it's an impossible task for your corners if pressure isn't getting home until 4 seconds. You can't do that. And Eberflus knows it. He knows he needs to adjust and do something different because guys, they're just not putting it all together. They're not communicating well. They're not rotating and carrying people. They're taking themselves out of their gaps, out of their run fits, just because they're not trusting what they're seeing. They're not playing fast. They're triggering slow. But then more importantly, the most damning thing is that they're choosing finesse over physicality. It's a business decision, a mindset, a mentality that the defensive front, the front seven, taking a day off. Doesn't matter what Eberflus does. Guys have to make the decision to choose their manhood over their opponents. So that's the bad news and the good news right now. Take it how you want. The bad news is that it's so bad that there's so much bad, it's hard to you can't zero anybody out. There's too much. But the good news is the foundational issue of what we saw on Sunday was a choice that the players themselves must make. Power, pad level, physicality, manhood. It's in there. We've seen it already numerous times throughout this season. So, but they have to make a choice. It's not hard to be better. That's how bad it is. So is that a bad thing in your mind or is that a good thing? You tell me. It's definitely not a good thing for right now. But it can only go up. It can't get much worse. But they have to make a decision. Players got to play hard. But Matt Eberflus also, in the same breath, has to stop putting guys into positions that they're incapable of succeeding at. It takes all 11, all 12, if you want to include the coordinator. It's a 12-man job. So firing Matt Eberflus, in my opinion, based on what I'm seeing right now, there's too much bad on the field that he cannot control for me to say definitively that, yes, making one decision makes this team better. I don't think that's the case.